I think altruistic businesses are the future, like where people actually care about people. I always care about my people, and I think it's important. In fact, my two key things that my branding person in Australia told me is that I help people find certainty so they know what to do every day, and I care about them.
Welcome to Opportunity Knocks. I'm your host, Todd Patton, and today we have a real special guest. We have the GOAT when it comes to podcasting, JB Glossinger, my good friend for over almost 10 years now. He was living in Parkland Golf. JB, I'm so glad you're back here in Parkland Golf today. Let me tell you, man.
It's awesome.
This is special, man.
It's great. It feels like I never left, so it's really good.
Man, so, this is going to be a really interesting one because you've done it, man. You've talked a lot about it. Because I remember you were doing podcasts when they weren't cool. You were doing them 20 years ago. Nobody knew what the hell they were.
Yeah, we had to teach people how to. They're called a podcast because you had to plug it into an iPod. So when I started in 2005, like 20 years ago, we had to teach people like. You download this and then you put it in this device called a podcast, and it's like where you play your music from. It's called an iPod, and then you can listen to this and you can subscribe to it. And people literally used to have to plug in to get my podcast. Can you believe that? It was actually so work for somebody to actually listen to it. Yeah, it's crazy.
But let's hear the story of how you got started, because your backstory. You were never into technology. You were a sales guy, right?
I was in aerospace, and then I was buying. I had a pretty challenging upbringing, and then got myself into corporate and building a corporate and found myself just hating my life. Even though I was making good money, I was running a company and it felt like such a great thing, but I was locked into a suit and tie when ultimately I just wanted to be the Big Lebowski at the end of the day. And I'm like, what am I doing, man? I'm working 60 hours a week. I'm making a lot of money, a beautiful wife, beautiful home, beautiful everything, family, everything, but yet I was miserable, So part of the issue was I beat myself up every day, like, be satisfied, be happy, and I wasn't. And
how old were you at that time?
Gosh, you're going to ask me that. Probably 30 some,
So
35.
This is when you made the switch and said, and podcast again, there was no Joe Rogan, there was no...
No, and I didn't even start that way. I started off, I wrote a book, and I thought I would be Tony Robbins, be a motivational guy, come from the sales world, and it failed. I spent my last $40,000, I quit my job, thought that's the thing to do, spent all my money, paid $40,000 to self-publish a book. I thought you'd just sell it and it'd work. And I went to a little event. I'll never forget. I paid $500 to speak, and I took about 500 books with me. And after I spoke that I paid to speak, I went to my booth and sold 2.
Not a good ROI.
No, it was definitely the walk of shame, like taking those books from the event center. And worst part, my wife's sister.
You actually had the books.
Oh, I had the books.
Not an ebook or anything.
Oh, yeah, I had to carry them back. My wife's sister's carrying them back. We had to take the banners we spent our last money on and credit. So it was a disaster. Oh, dude, it was a disaster. And so then I tried a couple other ways to sell books, and I couldn't sell them. Nobody would hire me to speak. My wife was looking at me like, what the hell is going on? Go get a job. Go back to work. And my buddy said, hey, you're pretty good. Why don't you do something in the morning? And I was like, I don't know what I do. And he's like, do a call or something. So we literally went, I literally went on and searched back in the day for a website, and Morning Coach was available. So I got morningcoach.com. I went to a Barnes & Noble's, and there were a lot of bookstores back then, right? So I got a book on how to build a website in 24 hours. So in Dreamweaver, I built a book, Morning Coach, and then, I built a website, I'm sorry. And it was Morning Coach. It's a horrible website, but on it said, to work with me every day, send me your email and I will give you the 800 number to call in on. And literally, I think that was the first landing page on the internet, at least one of them. I don't think anybody had ever done that.
So that was your call to action.
That was my call to action. And I don't think there was anybody had ever done that. And so I didn't know what to do. So I got a freeconferencecall.com. I think they're still around. And literally, I'd do a call at 8 in the morning and 10:30 for the West Coast. And I started going on MySpace. This is how long ago this was. And anybody that liked Tony Robbins, I would put a little thing like, come listen to Morning Coach every day. and people would start listening. And it was crazy because what happened was, I was putting spam in these things. And eventually we had 100 people listening every morning. And I couldn't put any more people on the conference call.
You were maxed out at 100.
I was maxed out. I had no money. We were broke. I couldn't get any money to do anything. So I started searching, how do I put audio on the internet? And literally, since late 2005, there was a little thing called podcasting. And I'm like, what is this thing called podcasting? It's like you put the audio up.
And it's funny. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no.
Back then, JB, there was no video to it. You're right. It was all audio.
No, nobody knew it.
The podcast is just Now video kind of goes almost like you think.
No, there was no YouTube. There was no. That was pre everything. Like my website was like almost in dashes. Like it was at that time, and then people would call in. And I'd be like, good morning, and I'd do my thing. But I couldn't get any more people on the line. So I was like, podcasting, how do I do this? And so I used to record it with a phone, literally a phone and a recorder. And it would record everything. So the first couple episodes, thank God they're not around anymore. But in the background, I would get emails because in the background you could hear this tink and a stream and then a flush. And people are like, are you going in the bathroom while you're doing your podcast? Because I didn't know how to record it and I didn't know how to put it up and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was getting all these emails like, JB, you shouldn't really go to the bathroom when you're doing your podcast. And I was, and I just didn't know how to meet the lines. But somebody was,
Awesome.
So it's a true story. And so then I started doing it consistently every day. Every day I started putting it up, learning, getting better.
And this was the brand Morning Coach then.
Yes.
That's when you just started.
Yes.
It's been around for 20 years.
Yes. People can Google this stuff. So in late 2005, I think it was in 2006, so a whole year we made no money. My life sucked. I looked like I was a heroin addict. I lost all this weight. I was all stressed out, but I was motivated. I was positive. I looked terrible.
Good content.
You can see some of the pictures. But then it was crazy. I think December of 26, iTunes featured me. I was on the cover of iTunes. 40,000 downloads that day. I hit top 25 in the world and never looked back. And we literally just started dominating from that point. And I didn't know how to monetize. This was 2006. So from 2006, 2007, 2008, I survived. I made a lot of, enough selling books and speaking. In fact, I did Blog World. We mentioned offline how, I used to do Blog World back in the day.
So is that how Blog World found you? Because, if you're
my podcast. I was beating Ellen and Oprah and Tony Robbins. My podcast was bigger than all of them. Yeah, I have those screenshots. Yeah, I do.
You got to send me that. I want to put it in the video.
Okay, yeah, I've got some cool screenshots. So, and I got where I was ahead of Tim Ferriss and Tony Robbins. And the day that I was just behind Ellen, cool. Top 25.
Dude, that is awesome, man.
It was a great story.
You weren't making any money at the time, but you're like, you know what? It's still just that that you're going in the right direction.
Yes. And so in 2009, this was what was life-changing. I decided to go from free to paid. And nobody had done a paid podcast. I don't think anybody, I think that's just getting to be a thing now. So I was doing this in 2009. I said, guys, listen, I have no money. I need to. So we launched Morning Coach. The real Morning Coach is a membership site, and 1,231 people came with me. At that time, we charge $100 now, but at the time it was $20. But it was like $1 billion to me. Like $1 billion. I was making $20-some thousand a month.
You're doing what you love.
Oh, it was.
And you're getting paid.
It was unbelievable. Like it just changed my life. And since 2009, I've always had that core business. And Morning Coach is my baby. I have people that are still with me. A lot of my people have been with me for 20 years, which to me is the most important thing. The community that I've created and the people that I work with. I love what I do, but I love who I work with. And I have people in Australia, Japan, England that have been listening for 20 years. I have second generation, which is crazy.
What?
I have kids that used to listen to me say, good morning, and now they're in college. And it's crazy. They were young 20 years ago, right? So It's been a blessing. I can't believe the journey I've been on. And not without pitfalls. I made a lot of mistakes, but that's where I come from. So yes, I've done 5,500 plus episodes now. So I do it every day, and then we do coaching and planning. And we have our membership site still going strong and growing.
I love it. So what's the one piece of advice? I mean, obviously podcasts are hot now. I'm starting one.
Yeah.
I'm about 29 episodes in. And I was feeling proud of that until JB walked in. And I go, JB, how many have you done? What's the number?
5,500. I think 5562, I think was what I just recorded.
That's amazing. But what is the secret to the longevity? And what is it, if you were to give advice to somebody new, just starting a podcast now, is it equipment, spend a lot of money on equipment, do this, do that, do that? What is it?
I really believe, Todd, that it's about authenticity and about your story. We were kind of talking before how I believe, what I see that the problem is a lot of people are doing interviews, which are great, but I think the problem is when you're interview heavy, the audience expects that, and it's a lot of work, and you can't connect. I'd rather have a smaller audience, as I do. My YouTube's only 27,000. We don't get the 40,000 downloads, but I have such a core, awesome audience that gets me, and they know I might speak wrong. There might be an editing error. They know they're not going to get this super high performance stuff, but what that allows me to do is play golf or run marathons and work an hour a day. I would rather do that and have lifestyle than put myself behind a content production world where I got to hire people and I got to make sure everything's perfect. I want to be authentic and real and help people. And that's what works for me. Yes.
Because even interviewing, you could be authentic and real, but it's somebody else that's the main topic. You're saying that's not the angle to go.
No.
Because and you can still do a little bit of that, maybe like 5%, 10%, 20%, right? But so those are the two things I heard you say there, JB, was be authentic, make it about you, be authentic. And then also you mentioned niche, have a niche audience, right?
Worry about less people. I mean, one of the things I talk about is scalability. So I have a thing called intelligent life design. And if you think about $1 million business, most people don't need $1 million. We found most people need about $250,000 in revenue from a content business, and they're doing good. So if you get $2,000 a year per person, if you're providing value, we charge $100 a month, right? So if you do the math, but if you do 500 people at $2,000 a year, that's $1 million business. That's only 500 people, right? So many people are focusing on all these numbers when really you only need 125 people spending $2,000 a year with you, and you have $250,000 business. And a lot of people don't think about that.
And there's so many people in the world that you're not just targeting
125
or Indiana. You're targeting all over.
Yeah, I got Japan. We got Australia, Germany. I got amazing people around the world. I want quality versus quantity. I don't mind if people self-select for my content. If they don't like me, that's fine. Hey, I love you too, but go watch somebody else. I'm going to get paid for the content that I produce. I'm going to get paid for the systems that we've created over the years, the productivity systems we've done, and that's the business I've built. So I don't focus on sheer numbers. Great, yeah, we'd all love to have 1,000 people, but really, what do you need? I mean, right now, and I don't mind sharing, we have 300 core members that are $100 a month. That's a great niche. And then we have a mastermind program, which is 500 people, and right now I think we got 22 people in that. I'm going to cap it at 40. So those are my base business models that just work for me. And then we've discussed I own multiple businesses, but that's my baby. And I would rather work with less people and get them results than try to scale and then start losing control of that.
This is really good stuff you're talking about, because it's something that I struggle with. I know a lot of people do is finding your lane. What is it going to be? So yes, I love business. That's so broad. Business is everything. But when I was going to start a company, I was thinking, what is it? Do I coach people? Do I buy I mentioned home service business? Do I do this? So I came up with a company, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, JB, but it's called One Home. And the original plan for One Home, and as you know, you start a business and it evolves and it changes, and that's healthy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you got to be an entrepreneur, right? At the end of the day.
That's the fun part
constant
of it.
Evolution.
But it started out as a tool for homeowners, and it still is for homeowners, but that was the main vision, is I was going to have a fee that homeowners pay me and build this tool that gives homeowners basically the ability to manage their house. Their home's their biggest asset, most people's, and yet they don't really take care of it, and so it has 13 notifications, the platform, where it notifies the homeowner, and it's got a little do-it-yourself video next to it on how to change your AC filter. I hope everybody knows how to do that, but they might not have how to
You'd
do
be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it every 2 months you get a text on your phone, and it'll have that notification saying, don't forget to change your filter, and you could turn them on or off or manage that in the website. And then the second part was finding vendors that you trust. In other words, vetting them. So what I did is I vetted, and I'm doing it now, I've been doing it for a year, 48 categories, everything from gutter cleaning to painting and I'm literally, when I say I'm on the phone 4 or 5 times a day with different vendors, and that's been like that since January. So I'm doing a lot of that heavy lifting. I want to find good people running great companies, I want really good people, So our platform has 48 categories, if you could think of it this way.
Yep.
So if you're a homeowner and you're on there, you would go down and let's say you go to gutter cleaning, as I use that example. There's going to be 3 companies there for you to choose from. And these are all vetted by me. The first company from the business side now is my client. So those are the ones that are paying me a fee, right? And not only do they get the leads from the website, but they also get networking events that I'm doing where I'm basically bringing all these top vendors together and teaching them how to refer business to each other. Guys, this is and we had our first event, and it was a home. The energy was through the roof, and I have video of it, so I'll play it as I'm talking about it now. But it was awesome. People loved it, and business was done in the room.
I love it.
So I'm like, this is, it's not a BNI or a chamber or anything like that. This is a very niche. These are all companies that are successful in Broward County that are dealing with homeowners. Everybody's got homeowners by it. So my question to you is, as far as, and I think I know the answer just based on our 15, 20 minutes together, is, I was struggling with, do I bring on CEOs, interview this? And then I brought on 2 of my vendors that are now signed up for the platform. Because again, I'm launching January 1st, by the way, so it hasn't even launched yet. I'm just building up the vendors first. But I have a flooring company and I have a pest control company that signed up. And I brought them on the Sprinter. And you know what? The content they gave, because I was asking them, hey, as a homeowner in your pest control, how do I get rid of these roaches? Like, was there any tips you can give me? And it's just good content they're giving. I'm taking that content, cutting it up, and giving it to the homeowner. It's part of the app, the platform. Yeah. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I think I know the answer because by how you positioned it earlier, but I think that's my niche, right?
Well, here's what I see with that, and I love it. So if you look at Morning Coach, we drive everybody through a planner. Over the years, we've developed a community planner that is unbelievable. So people need planning, right? So typically if we find somebody with a device that they're using to plan, they're usually a business owner, somebody that's goal setting, somebody that wants, so that leads them to our service. So it's like we're giving tremendous value, right? Yeah. And same thing, we're getting ready, I'm working with Dr. Paul Kilgore to do longevity and anti-aging. We're building a planner that we're going to give away for free. We're going to do a little bit of content for free, not everything, but a little bit, so we can help people. Once they see they're being helped and they know you, like you, and trust you, then you can provide them other things. So what I love with what you're doing is I'd be focused on the home management system and making it so awesome and so amazing. And I would keep it free and build 1 million people. And again, sorry about the numbers because I am thinking a different business model here. We're not talking about building a lifestyle business. We're talking about building a business. How do I get rid of these roaches? Like, was there any tips you can give me? And it's just good content they're giving. I'm taking that content, cutting it up, and giving it to the homeowner. It's part of the app, the platform. Yeah. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I think I know the answer because by how you positioned it earlier, but I think that's my niche, right? Well, here's what I see with that, and I love it. So if you look at Morning Coach, we drive everybody through a planner. Over the years, we've developed a community planner that is unbelievable. So people need planning, right? So typically if we find somebody with a device that they're using to plan, they're usually a business owner, somebody that's goal setting, somebody that wants, so that leads them to our service. So it's like we're giving tremendous value, right? Yeah. And same thing, we're getting ready, I'm working with Dr. Paul Kilgore to do longevity and anti-aging. We're building a planner that we're going to give away for free. And we're going to do a little bit of content for free, not everything, but a little bit, so we can help people. Once they see they're being helped and they know you, like you, and trust you, then you can provide them other things. So what I love with what you're doing is I'd be focused on the home management system and making it so awesome and so amazing. And I would keep it free and build 1 million people. And again, sorry about the numbers because I am thinking different business model here. We're not talking about building a lifestyle business. We're talking about building a business. And I would just build this huge, massive lead business. Then on the backside, I would work with business owners that are struggling to get leads and vet everybody and build this wonderful service business on the back. And that would give you just huge, big list, which you could do so much with because you're providing value to the people by giving them that management system. And eventually you could charge like a tier. But I think the value is in the list. And like, hey, these people know you, like you, and trust you because you've given them so much value. And you're vetting people and you're helping them. So you've created this wonderful service. And then I would just be building content to get more homeowners. Now on the service side, that could be almost a secondary thing where you're building events and you're teaching and you're getting people together and you're working with your vendors, and you could do awards and you could probably have a golden key to whoever, these guys did this much volume this year, they're our gold winner, and you could turn that into a whole back end awesome group of people where you're actually helping people. And the thing that I love about this is I think altruistic businesses are the future, like where people actually care about people. I always care about my people, and I think it's important. In fact, my 2 key things that my branding person in Australia told me is that I help people find certainty so they know what to do every day, and I care about them, and I truly do. I think if you care about homeowners and you build a system not for a business, but to, hey, you can plug into this, and you know when the air conditioner filter needs to be changed. You know when you need to do basic maintenance on an appliance. You know you need to change that water filter out on your home water filter. If you can give somebody a tool and maybe eventually an app or whatever, and you're giving, that's going to turn into an amazing source of leads, and you'll get rewarded for that. Then on the other side, when you're helping those service industries, which are typically mom and pop, don't have a lot of marketing, need help, you're helping them. So this business to me is a very altruistic business where you're giving, and the money just comes because there's going to be about 60% of the people that never value what you do, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But those 40% that do value will take care of the rest. So you just serve the ones that value you and then love the ones that don't and just produce great content, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. That's great advice. So as far as you're mentioning potentially, I know we talk about free for the homeowner, but you see a future of potentially charging, give it free this year, but maybe, because I wasn't thinking the homeowner would get charged at all, but maybe a year from now, 2 years from now.
Maybe you could create a tier, and again, I think authenticity, if we study compliance and Cialdini and all compliance, people just need a reason. So if you say, hey, we're going to charge $5 a month, I know subscriptions are everywhere and it's driving you nuts. We're going to keep it free if you just want to keep it free. But if you want to help support us so we can create more tools and more resources, we have a VIP tier. And that gives you you can call in to an 800 number or a chat, and you could use some AI stuff. But you could really get the AI, which would be great, a chat or a call in. You could actually do call in with AI where they get some type of service and you'll get people sign up for that. Just because they want to support your business. But I think, again, it all stems back from the content you create, that you're real, that you're authentic, that you're, right now there's a lot of hate against big corporations. We see it with a CEO. We see things happening, in healthcare. People are upset with corporations. So if you can be the real voice, like, look, these are mom and pops. We're helping people. These aren't huge companies. I see a huge business here because people want to support that. And you say, hey, we're not a huge business. Can you give us $5 a month? And what we're going to do is give you a call in line. We're going to do this and this. I think that authenticity is, you'll just dominate.
Love it, man. That's great. That's great stuff. Great advice, by the way. You made a move. You left Parkland. You went to Indiana.
Yes.
And I love, by the way, some of you're into snow now.
Yes. But I'm coming back. We have a place in Columbia, South America, too. But I have spent a lot of time in the snow, which I'm originally from LaPorte, Indiana. So it's a town outside Chicago, about 50 minutes outside Chicago, and
little lake house, right?
Yeah, and I grew up in a pretty mid-class family, and I went and built my business with my wife and disappeared. Been in Florida for 30 years, and so my mother, who I'm a mama's boy, my mom raised me till I was 9. My father played pro football, has passed away, but wasn't very good to my mother, and so we had a really rough upbringing. In fact, my mom used to be a nurse's aide, had to steal some food so we could eat. So it was tough until I was 9. Until she met my stepdad. Well, I had not fallen away, just, life takes over and don't get to see my mom much. Well, she got a cancer diagnosis with her kidney a few years ago. And luckily the kidney got taken out. There's no cancer there. But I just thought, you know what? I need to go back home. I need to spend some time. So I've been very fortunate to buy a house with a couple kitchens and a retreat center on our biggest lake and beautiful lake. And
if you don't follow JB, follow him on social media. He's got I love the videos and pictures you put up there. What an awesome, it's a cool little, and it's such a different, it's as far opposite as you can go from Park and
Yes, it's
just
an old school retreat, man. It used to be the Pine Lake Hotel in the 1800s. So it's an old hotel that they took part of it and turned it into a house up overlooking this lake at 70 feet. And it's just beautiful.
So and the beauty of what I love how you could do that is your business has improved. It's grown, even though you switch location. It just proves that you don't have to be in a certain geography.
I think I've got people all over the world. That's the beauty of the content that you can create today is if you create good content. And again, people self-select with me. I'm not looking for everybody. That was a big lesson for me. I'm not trying to make everybody happy. I'm not trying to create content. I'm trying to find specific people, professional people that are looking to get their stuff together, trying to find some coaching. And as I've done this 20 years, I used to do $45,000 masterminds that were really expensive. But the problem with that is every year people are stroking a check for $45,000. They're going, what are you getting out of me? So now we have a $100 a month program, a $500 a month program. And so I can create tremendous value for that amount a month, not feel guilty trying to overcharge like a lot of people do in my industry, but yet scale it so I got a great group. And so we have a community that helps each other, and it's just awesome. So you think, you're up in the middle of the night thinking of a problem, you go in our community and you say, man, has anybody got any help with me? And somebody in Europe is just getting up in the morning and they're like, oh yeah, I can help you out. So 24 hours a day. We built a whole website with community and
so that's
apps.
Yours?
Yes, it's like a private community.
So is that morningcoach.com?
Yeah, and so what's cool about it is people have skin in the game. So everybody in that group's paid at least $100 a month. So that they're not just some free Facebook group that you're getting some.
Exactly.
everybody's got skin in the game. And that's a weird thing to talk about from a business perspective and how I do my business different than most people, right? I would rather charge a certain amount of money because then I know I have them qualified. But I don't want to charge too much where a person goes, wow, why am I giving JB this so much money? I tell you, Jurgen, one of my guys, told me the greatest story in our meeting last a couple weeks ago. He said, JB, my wife goes, why are you spending this money? This is so stupid. What is Morning Coach? And he's like, I'm using their planners. I'm getting organized. This is an engineer from Germany. Year 2, why are you spending this money with JB? What's going on? Year 3, he said she came in and she goes, he just got a C-suite job. And he's just amazing. His life's totally transformed. And she goes, I don't know what you're spending money with, JB, but I'm happy because I love the man you become.
Wow.
And that almost put me in tears because
that's powerful.
It's just huge. And he didn't even realize how much it affected me because my systems work. And we really, I don't know, it's just awesome. And that's why I don't want a ton of people. I'd rather work with individuals because that's my friend. Like that's somebody that
cool,
I'll support
JB.
for the rest of his life.
And you can tell how sincere, you mentioned the word authentic, you are with that, because you can tell that just brought you up. I mean, that's awesome, man. And speaking of that, as far as organization, because a lot of what you're talking about is structure and organization and being it's an issue that I have. It's a challenge. I use, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but Google Calendar for all my I put all my if you look at my calendar. It's almost, it gets me nervous looking at it because I put all my reminders on it. So I don't know.
You need to get in my system. So we actually analyze the way you think and make sure you're using the right tools to the way you're thinking. So we build everything around a mission. So like we're getting this a great time to start a year. So we're doing a 12-month structured mission. It's like, if you want to say North Star, you're a navigator. It's like, this is where I'm going. If you want to stay strategic, if you're a military guy, or we could say it's just a 12-month goal. But we need some structure to what you're doing. And then inside of that, okay, and this is the book I wrote for Hay House, but what's inside of that is now once we have that mission, we can set goals. And those goals are going to take us to that mission.
It's one of those 3.
Yes, no,
the North Star?
Yeah, you can call it whatever you want, is what I'm saying, because it's just a big goal. If you want to call it North Star mission, you can, but it's just like, this is what we're going to go after. We have workbooks for this, but you get that first mission, and then we can structure the goals down, and then we get projects and tasks. The problem is, at the project level, too many people have too many projects going on. So my job is to get you to say no. Like, you got to say no more. We've got to get linear focus on what you're going to do so you get the results, and that's what our systems are about. And that comes from aerospace and working with engineers and studying Jack Welch and my MBA, and I did a PhD in metaphysics. So I have this really unique background, and we were able to build this system. And now we have planners that work with this system. So we do this initial planning, and throughout the year we do PDCA, which is plan, do, check, act. So in February, we check that plan. And so last year, for example, my health wasn't where I wanted to be, so I signed up for a 5K. I got to a 5K. Next thing you know, I ran a marathon last year. So I made a huge life change using my plan because I looked at it in February and said, you know what? My health isn't where it needs to be. Get your stuff together.
So you can commingle personal and
it's
everything.
It's everything. It's 20 years of work to build this. And I got to tell you, we're friends. So I've worked so hard for 20 years, and I just feel like I'm in business for the first day. Like, it's so exciting. Like, we finally are getting recognized. We have a major company, I don't want to say it here live, but maybe bringing it into 120,000 employees. It's just awesome to see all the hard work that you've done over the years to start to be recognized, you know?
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so it's great. And it's, the system's beautiful. Like, I love it. Like, I want you to, you should be using it. Like, you should be getting yourself organized with our systems, because there's nothing better than waking up and knowing you're certain about what you're doing.
So walk me through that. So if somebody signs up at Morning Coach, you say the systems, the first thing you do is, obviously it's an intake, probably a form or something.
Yeah. So it's real simple, and you need to know this from business, right? So it's $100 a month. It's to me, inexpensive when you're getting an entire coaching program. And I work with you every day in my coach cast. That's what's cool. So you sign up. You get your workbook. I've got a planning module that anybody can do at any time, because typically we do December planning. Most of the people have been with me years and years and years. Most people stay with me, and we continue to work on your plan and evaluate it. In fact, one of the problems I have is I overwhelm people, because I have a belt system that goes from white to black, and we do second brain. We do organizational systems. We look at all kinds of stuff, for whether it's assessment. So it can be overwhelming. So we say, slow down, do the planning module, and listen to the coach cast. So we have a morning routine that we suggest people do, which is they get up in the morning and they take care of their self-care, number one always, and then they listen to the Coach Cast, which is 15 minutes every day. I have Dr. Paul on Saturday, so we do in longevity and anti-aging. 15 minutes with me every day, which is going to set up your day.
Every morning.
Monday
through Friday.
Every day. 365 days of the year, we're with you. And then you fill out your day, and then you get in your planner, and you write down your priorities every day. And if you don't double your productivity in a year, I'll give you all your money. I'll double your money back because the systems work. And so that's why I don't want everybody. Like, we self-select. We want people that get it, and I love it. You got to do it. I'm telling you, it's that good. Yeah, and so people slide off of it. Like, they'll leave for 3 months. I have it happen all the time. Yeah. Lori just came back after 5 years. And then we have community meetups, which are really powerful. These are people within the community. Like Lori, I mentioned, she does social media. She's got a social media company in Michigan. We have Jurgen, who comes in and does engineering stuff. We have Karen, who does business brunch on every other Tuesday. We have John in Japan, who does life transitions. So there's constant meetings going on with different people of the community that I stay out of, because I want them to create a bond with our community. So it's a weird thing where it's a productivity group. And as I mentioned, we're adding anti-aging and longevity because I'm 55 now. But you can tell I'm proud of it. The system works. I love it. And it's growing like crazy.
That's amazing. You're passionate, man. I could feel it.
Well, cool. I just love seeing lives change. There's nothing better when somebody says, hey, JB, I took this chance. I built this business. I did somebody on Shark Tank, a stay-at-home mom. So it's just really cool when people have somebody in their corner fighting for them. I think that's the biggest issue in the world today. There's so much noise on social, even with you. Like, that's what I'm saying. It needs to be value generated. If you focus on helping people, there are people that will see that help and are willing to pay you because they realize you're in it with them. I just think there's too many businesses, especially content creation, that's TikTok-ish and just shallow. You got to get in depth. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why when we talk about your business,
you want to get deep.
Yeah, get deep. I mean, if you just want views, to me, that's vanity. Yeah. I don't need the ego hit anymore. I don't need any validation. I want to work with people and help them in their life and transform. And like you want to help homeowners transform. If you come from that point and create the content around that, you're not worried about your cameras. You're not worried about your audio. You're just worried about putting content out to help people. And they see that. They know that.
They feel the passion too. I've had to, so it's funny because the homeowners is how I started originally, which a lot of the value I give the homeowners is, it's incredible what they're going to get. But through that journey of building this, I realized that the vendors, I could help them right now more than anything, just because a lot of them don't know how to. Like, I'll give you an example. My lawn guy. Yeah. He puts a handwritten note in my mailbox saying you owe this, and I go, why can't we? Can't you? He just doesn't have that.
But that's what you're giving back. So you have somebody. My wife's Colombian. So, she came from Colombia and we met, and there's people that come here and they're, I love them. They're struggling. They're trying to figure things out. And if you can help those people, it's awesome. I mean, anybody in general, but just think of that guy that's working so hard, trying to feed his family. And if you can help him, why not? See, to me, all the political stuff, all that's noise. Start working in your own communities and start helping people. That's why I bring back people to the numbers. If you're sitting out there thinking about starting a business and you're worried about it, go find 125 people to pay you $2,000 in some product or service. That's $250,000 business. You're in business. Yep. You find 50 people at $2,000 a year. Think about it, $2,000 a year. That's $166 a month. Can you figure out a way to provide value to somebody at $166 a month? I do $100 a month, and I'm giving as much value as I can, and I keep creating value. So if you do that and you take time to do it, you'll build an amazing business.
That's fun. That's good stuff. And, it's interesting when you told me the story about the guy, what an awesome story, where his wife, for 3 years is saying, what is this? I'm seeing this on the credit card statement. Morning coach, what the hell is this? But then he became a person that's better than what he was.
Oh, he's a C-suite. He's probably going to be CEO of a company in Germany.
Think of corporate, it's everything for you.
Well, what's great about him is he wakes up in the morning. He has a podium, or they call it a lectern. I'm a speaker too, but it's really a lectern. But think of a podium. He gets up in the morning. Just imagine his wife. He gets in the morning. He's got his headphones on and he's working his planner 15 minutes every day. And his life is totally. He's actually moving right now because he's on the C-suite, going to be the CEO of a huge company. And he was working about 80 hours a week doing security stuff as an engineer, and now he's moving to the C-suite. So it's just beautiful because basically what he did is use my systems to get clear about what he needed to do. Started cutting stuff out, started getting rid of consulting clients and figuring out what he really wanted to do, and then he was able to achieve. So that clarity is what's so critical that most people don't work on. True. And that's what our systems are about. It's like, slow down. I'm with you every day. Saturdays, I'm not Dr. Paul Kilgore, but he's talking about longevity stuff. This guy's a research scientist, physician, and a professor at Wayne State. I'm so blessed to have him, and we're getting ready to launch.
How'd you connect with him?
He came to me because he wanted some coaching from academia and saying, how do I get out of academia to make a difference in the world? I want to change the world's health. And so that's what we're doing together. We're trying to, he's a triathlete, awesome guy, super genius, but no marketing skills. So we're trying to build a platform for him. And I like him so much. And after working with him so long, I'm like, dude, you need to come into Morning Coach. We're going to add a whole thing, like not charge anymore. We're going to give people longevity and anti-aging, because people look at me and go, you're 55. And, you know, I'm starting to run marathons and stuff. And my biological age is 44, according to my watch. I don't know. I don't know if I look young or not, but supposedly I do. And so I want to help people with their health, because at the end of the day, even if I help you with your productivity and you live your dream life, if you don't have your health, you have nothing.
That's right. Awesome, man. Well, what a way to finish. And we'll finish on that note. But JB, thank you so much for coming in. And I can't believe, you know, it's amazing to me that you got on a plane and you came here just for this podcast. You know, you came down here to Park and Golf to be on here.
I know, I did. I was telling you when he started this, I want to support. I love it. This is what it's about. And like I said, as we talk, the interview model's so hard, and I respect you for doing it. I respect having this van. It's great, but I think it's a piece of every. Yes. You're going to impact so many people's lives, and I love the business you've started. But even this, let's just keep growing the content, because people need to hear inspiring stories. It's tough out there. The one thing I will leave you with is it's not easy, right? It's not hard. There's times when I want to give up. There's times when I look at the world and I see stuff going on. What's happening? I work with kids. You know, I think the industrial prison system with young black men drive me nuts. There's certain things that I'm like, what is going on in the world? The political stuff, the corruption. But one thing I know, we can bring good, positive energy. And if you work hard and if you truly value other human beings and you build systems that help them, you'll succeed. Amazing. This is him, JB Glossinger. You got to visit Morning Coach. That was good information. JB, thank you so much. No problem. Thank you, brother. Awesome. Man.